Uh, Thank you guys for coming again. For M.I.Diverse again. And today we're talking about theme parks. I, I haven't been to a theme park in a hot minute, but I keep following the videos, following all these types of um, content creators that go to the theme parks. And, I'm noticing some stuff. I don't know about you guys, but, let's get on into it. What are some thoughts already? What do you guys have for thoughts to start up with?
Like just general theme park experience or just like our overall thoughts right now?
I guess for we could start off with the overall thoughts. Overall thoughts probably would be a good idea.
Well, it's been like a pretty good hot minute since I ever been to a Disney park. Like I think the
Same.
earliest was like in 2016 for Christmas. Well, actually, not no, the earliest was like when I was like 7 or 8 or something. So like in 2008 or something. That so and that then the last time I was there was like at any Disney park was in 2018 in Disneyland. And honestly, I'm kind of glad that I'm not like going there anymore because due to all like just seeing all of the new stuff that they're adding, it's like I wouldn't even go to a Disney park anyway because the quality of the attractions and layout have just like not only has the quality of the attractions and layout have just gone downhill to the point where it looks like the embodiment of everything wrong with slapping an existing franchise on anything without care or cohesion,
Hmm.
and this bland minimalist design trend that makes everything look like a that makes everything look lifeless and ugly. And as like you mentioned before we started this episode, it's also gotten way too expensive to visit. Now
Yeah.
charging things that used to be free, believe it or not, with admission, and no giving actual value in return. And I
Yeah,
think that's yeah.
I was gonna say yeah, because isn't it like just even to get a water or like not you can't get a commemorative refill for a commemorative cup. You have to buy a whole different cup just to get a refill or something.
I don't know. I haven't like looked into that, but I wouldn't even be surprised.
I would be surprised either.
But
Because
sorry, I was just gonna say it's like it, and I think that really shows a lot because I think part of me thinks that they know their film and TV divisions are stagnating. So it seems like they are solely relying on their parks division for easy money. Like as shown in a video I watched that in 2023 the parks by themselves, not like the whole company itself, but the parks themselves generated around 32.5 billion dollars in revenue. So it's like they know. It's like they know. It's like if everything else is stagnating, they can rely on that. And
And
it's
for and unfortunately, like there are individuals going into credit card debt going to Disney. And it's like, why are you doing this to yourself? So, yeah.
and that's another thing as well is that despite all of that, there you still see videos of huge crowds, especially at the Magic Kingdom, which is the most expensive of the parks so far. It's like
hmm
it really does seem like they eat up the price. But the thing is that while it's easy to assume that park attendance isn't changing at all, crowd numbers are declining, albeit very slowly. And it may not, like I said, it may not even look like it, but it is declining. It's like
yeah,
many people do feel priced out and are just not going there anymore, especially now where you look at some of the total amount that you could make, which is like in like the $4,000 mark. You could use that same money to go to just better places with better value.
yeah,
And
and
it
yeah.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead, John.
It's also the fact that some of these people are bringing their kids when they're so darn young. They're not going to remember a thing.
Yeah.
Like, why are you wasting your money on this time of your kids' lives when they're not going to remember a thing?
Well, at this point,
It's annoying.
it's about basically just shoving the parents' nostalgia onto the kids so they can
Yeah,
relive it.
basically.
Yeah.
Or like at least that's part of the reason. I'm sure the reason why people still go to Disney parks is very complicated because it varies depending on the person. But yeah, it's like a very complicated scenario. But
I mean, it is complicated, but it's kind of like you got to prioritize what's more important right now. Going to a
Yeah.
park, going to an overpriced theme park, or something else.
well,
Yeah.
all I know for certain is that Disney is not trying to appeal to the middle class family that could actually afford the trip anymore, like how they initially did it,
Yeah.
especially as they
Yep.
continue to increase the ticket prices, just the ticket price for
Hmm.
one day every year. And now every day, depending on certain days and how busy it is, it's like they're really banking on the charging more if people keep coming back strategy. And also appealing to people who already paid for like their membership stuff and those that have no problem forking over thousands of dollars for merchant overpriced hotels. It's like they're really trying to turn this into a luxury vacation. They're trying
It
to
Yeah.
is
hop on the luxury bandwagon.
it is going that way, unfortunately. It is very, very much going. I think Disney's trying to become a luck. They're not trying to just turn into a quote unquote a lifestyle. They're trying to turn it into a luxury lifestyle.
And that's why all of the aesthetics just look gosh darn boring because I guess rich people have really weird tastes.
Well,
Can
I
I
mean,
also
yeah.
can I also mention, is this the time where I can mention the story where my one friend and I went to this Disney thing and it was not what it was advertised?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh boy, this is a fun story. So my friend and she and I went to this thing. It was like, I think it was called the Disney Animation Experience. So it was kind of like a bit of a museum, a little bit of like different kinds of stuff from Disney. The museum part was great. They had the walls covered with animation and different art pieces and pieces from animation. It was great. Like the museum part, that was fun. That was actually really cool. They actually had a replica of one of the desks from Walt Disney for their animation, which was really cool. I thought that was really, really cool because and as they advertised, they were saying that there was supposed to be, because I was thinking in the advertisement they show that it's this big giant room that they are projecting animation on these different columns, so you're literally walking around in the room where they're projecting, so people can just walk around as you're watching the animation on the wall. So we're thinking, okay, we're in cosplay. We don't want to wear our certain shoes for our cosplays because we don't want to be walking all day. And then we get there. When we get to the projection room, everybody is literally sitting on the floor. And we're looking at everyone else and we're like, we are not sitting on the floor. And I was looked at my friend and I was like, luckily they had like these benches on the side. So we just got a bench and we're like, we are not losing this bench to anybody. So um we just literally sat on a bench, and then after that, on the whole end of the day, it was like, well, I looked at my friend and said, well, that was not what they advertised. So
Yeah, and actually that kind of brings up an interesting
mhm,
point about
yeah,
despite these parks being priced at like luxury price, the the actual experience is not luxurily valued.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like they just do the gosh darn bare minimum.
I was
And
gonna even, oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say it's like these Disney parks used to be places where you actually experience things that you wouldn't have in any other theme park or any other average mall or shopping district. Now they're replacing all their attractions with stuff that you could find in almost, if not every park or your local mall. It's like just walk
Yeah.
down Main Street in the Magic Kingdom. It looks like a gosh darn mall.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine on Discord. He just went to I think he went to either Universal or Magic Kingdom or one of the two, and like I I'm sorry for kind of bringing these prices up. So they had like Marvel Legends on the shelves, right? Those things go for like 20, 30, so unfortunately $30. I seen some of them, or he said he's seen some of them for go like almost like 60 plus or 40 to 60. It's a like this is crazy. This is stupid.
Not as stupid as Disney did a blind box store in practically a blind box store in Disney Springs, where the lowest price I saw was $10 a box. But it's like, that's not entirely that bad. But the was highest I saw was $20 per box. It's the same
Jeez.
amount. It's
It's
the
like the
same
little
amount.
tiny little like
Yes, it's the same amount as to park your gosh darn car. It's like
yeah,
even with their two single boxes per theme per guest, as what they say in the signs of the store, you could pay upwards of $40 just for two boxes.
God.
Like,
I just wanted to ask you, John, because you mentioned it. I think I we probably talked about this before, but it's been a hot minute. Do you
Mhm.
know if that was even like an officially licensed Disney thing?
It was officially licensed.
God.
It was
goodness
officially
gracious.
licensed.
Oh my gosh.
They were having TV advertisements. That's how I knew that the room was that when the projection where they were putting it on the walls. That's how I knew it didn't look like it was because they were throwing all these advertisements of this thing on TV. Everybody saying, "Oh, come to the Disney, what animation experience thing," and I'm sitting there like, because I'm glad I went with my friend because I'm glad that my friend and I had a good time. But honestly, we just looked at each other at the end of that day and we were like, we are not like it's not happening again, guys. Like no. I after seeing that, I'm like, yeah, this has made me learn. I am not going to fall for anything like that ever again. Because if you are literally going to advertise it, and I mean it's not just this isn't just Disney's problem. It's also like didn't like in Detroit they say they were gonna have like a Bridgerton ball and that whole thing fell
Oh
apart.
gosh,
And
I
then
know
there was
about
the
that.
will and then there was the Wonka experience and that fell apart. And then there was something else and that fell
Well, so
apart.
some of them
Like
weren't even like officially licensed. That Wonka
true.
experience, all that marketing was AI and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
The weird thing is, I think has it literally just been a year since that happened?
Or like two
I have
years.
no idea.
It feels like it's been almost. I seen a post that says like, it's only been like since this January that happened. It's like for one thing, I probably I believe it
Mhm.
just because it's just so like God like I think that's something about like attractions
Yeah.
nowadays that's like so kind of
And I think it
frustrating,
does
I guess.
and it
Yeah.
doesn't help the fact that, especially with social media, it's made
Hmm.
these kinds of things very easy to do, unfortunately. And people just
Hmm.
don't
Yeah.
know any better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's some people that can't
unfortunately.
really discern the difference. Yeah.
Hmm.
I we were talking about memorabilia a little bit from
Hmm.
like the parks too. And I don't know, this is just like for some of these that are like secondhand prices for some of these. Sorry, give me a second.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit stuffy. Sorry about that.
Mhm.
But like even a Rivers of Light Lotus Blossom popcorn bucket costs $34, which I'm comparing to like an AMC popcorn bucket.
Mhm.
The new Chainsaw Man movie, Pochita, little dog chainsaw thing is like $34. But I don't I guess for me, like I feel like $30, 30-ish dollars is a bit of a stretch for me to like go buy a bucket to eat popcorn out of, even though I can't eat corn or popcorn. It's like I don't understand who's spending $70, $80 on a I guess it's like you're there to do it, but it just kind of seems like it's a little bit exorbitant. I guess is another good word. It's exorbitant to spend like almost $100 on something you're going to eat like at least half a cup's worth of popcorn out of. It just
Yeah.
it another good word is it's asinine. Is
Yeah.
another like
And actually, and it should be noted this, that people were complaining about Disney World being too expensive ever since like the 1980s or something like that. It's
yeah
like they've been increasing the normal ticket admission price. They've been increasing that like for a very long time, even during like various financial crises, like almost every year. And
Hmm.
it's like it's just so like at some point there's got to be something needs to like happen for them to realize that this decade long strategy of trying to premify everything is just like they really do need to. But I don't know. I really don't know. I like if I'm
well
gonna be on.
let's look at some metrics. Let's see. January. Well, let's see the year of 2006. My 10th birthday. I went during the 2006 season. So it looks like, and I gotta actually scroll back up. So so a price of a 1 day ticket for in the span of January 2006 to August 2006 was $63 per person, and that's for just for a 1 day. And that's like obviously $63 in 2006 money is definitely a little bit different than $63 in 2026 money, which is crazy to say, but
Yeah.
it, it's just if we're just going by the metrics of how much it was back in 2006 compared to today, it's $140 price increase, or at least
Yeah, like
$34
like
increase.
yeah, and I think gosh, it's right now I think like the highest that it is for for a single ticket per person, the highest it could go, depending on the day, would be $200. Like that's actually kind of dumb. Like I like and like I said, the attendance is declining. People are noticing it.
Okay, so and maybe it's not a good comparison. It's at least um $63 has the purchasing power of $101.29 today. So $63 has half the spending power of $101. $63 today has half the spending power it had 20 years ago. That is still at least a 300% markup on the price of the ticket. Sorry for people that are listening at home. We're just kind of going into the
Yeah, and also
logisticals.
yeah, and also something to keep in mind is that to bring up I actually looked at Universal's ticket admissions and their
Yeah.
own like fast pass system. Like just as a comparison, just to look at it,
Mhm.
considering that I don't even think Universal increases the price every year, not as like egregiously as what Disney is doing.
Yeah.
But I looked at the individual prices at the moment right now, and looking at the various hotel rate like, and these are just ticket prices for 1 day, for just doing 1 day, and then adding that with the hotel prices and wanting to go for the lowest priced offer that is available, and taking into account things that maybe you want to do prepaid parking and not doing any other merch. The lowest that I got was something like $546, which is still expensive, but it's certainly better than what Disney is doing. Like in a video that I saw in 2024, like for two adults, it rounded like it was just for the basic options plus the whole anti-consumer GD plus bullcrap for two adults. It was I rounded it to like okay. It was around $887 in total.
What's that compared to the universal prices?
No, I looked at the universal prices. The video was just like two people going to
Bare minimum at Disney is $800,
yeah, pretty much for
and
one
then
day.
for one day,
Yes.
yeah, that at least for me, that would be almost like my whole like credit budget just to like go down there and do basically walk around all day.
Yeah, it's and it's like I understand that for the 50 like $546 that is definitely sounds expensive, but at least
Yeah.
with that kind of price at Universal Studios, especially right now, you are getting an infinitely better experience
Yeah.
because despite Universal definitely has its problems, like don't get me wrong, like Epic Universe still has some growing pains it's got to deal with, but also at the same time they set a different expectation for
Yeah.
what their parks are, which is writing the movies.
Yeah.
So while we complain about like companies like Disney slapping franchises whatever they feel like it, Universal having franchises in their parks is fine because like I said, they set a different expectation and it's still cohesive and they're not just like shoving it in random places, like not shoving it in your face every 5 seconds, unlike what Disney is doing, where initially their parks had themes where you could view them as separate from any of their franchise, and they were actually cohesive with it, with the occasional Disney franchise thrown in there to remind you that you were in a Disney park. But especially with current leadership right now, they were moving all of that they were moving all of the theming, all of the cohesiveness, just to slap a random character on it and a gray background, essentially.
Is it? I know I don't know what the whole initiative is. I think it's a weird initiative. They're like firing all the villain actors. I heard that whole thing about the evil queen actress for the parks got fired recently or let go.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
I
know the
heard
whole.
about that.
It's so
That was so stupid
or
because that person did a phenomenal job. Like
I
Or they get,
phenomenal.
like, did they just get lay off because?
I think actually what the initiative was is that they are reserving all villain characters for Halloween, which is like, okay, that's
What?
one day or one season out of the year that you get to see all these villain characters. Like, I get it. I get it. We shouldn't be idolizing villains. We're already idolizing psychopathy way too much nowadays. But I feel like, you know, yeah, if your favorite Disney character or Disney villain is like Hades, you're gonna go to a Hades show, and we all know how we've seen the videos of how the guys in the Hades makeup act. You want to go and see that. Same thing with the Evil Queen or Maleficent or all that kind of stuff. It's not bad to go see them. I just don't think that. I just think it's so dumb to like limit their park time to at least 1 month out of the year. Like what?
I think they're
Why are we
just
doing
trying.
that?
I think that's just like some dumb strategy to squeeze more money out of people.
Oh, it probably is, especially when like it might be that in October, like that part of the year is like their downtime because everybody's heading back to school and all that kind of stuff. It's like, hey guys, so the villains can't come be in the parks, anymore for the rest of the year, but they're gonna be in the parks for the Halloween times when you and your kids are back in school and spend all this money doing school stuff. Come during the Halloween times. It's like, what?
Yeah, like,
It's so
and
dumb.
all and yeah, sorry. At the very least, Universal post 2018 are actually continually improving on their parks design and and improving their parks design, ride quality and creativity. and just making the attractions great, regardless of the material being used here, even for franchises that weren't well received.
Yeah.
Seeing like as everybody else is seeing as their main competition is struggling to maintain their main customers, like they just see their main competition struggling and realize, oh wait, we need to actually like improve all of this.
Well, another thing is like, okay, so Disney has all these like 50, 60 plus year old franchises that they're still trying to like keep relevant. And they have like Star Wars, which, let's be honest, hasn't really been relevant for about like 8-ish years outside of maybe, you know, the occasional like TV show. Mandalorian and Grogu is coming out soon, but a lot of people, and like I love Star Wars, but I think a lot of people can agree that um you can watch that, but it's also something that shouldn't. Yeah, we've talked. I think we've talked about this in a series longevity type conversation where it's just like sometimes it might have overstayed its welcome, or at least in the big screen situation. Because we've already
Yeah,
some people have already had their opinions about these movies.
yeah.
Um, I think because we've been kind of dogging on Disney, the parks, and the prices. I think do you have you guys have I mean I've been to at least Disneyland, not Disneyland, Universal in California, and then Disney World in Florida in the past. I mean I can start with my stories, but do you guys have any stories of like going to the parks and such in the past?
Um, so in 2016 for Christmas, me and my family went to Florida and we visited the various parks. Like we
Uh-huh.
visited Disney World. Actually, we visited all the Disney parks, and then we did I think we just did Islands of Adventure, or yeah, I think we might have just did Islands of Adventure. We also did Discovery Cove and SeaWorld
Hmm.
for that year. And then I went to Disneyland in 2018. And yeah, and actually in Disneyland for 2018, it was like I went to California for a completely different reason, which was for a autistic animation program
Hey, I
they
guess
were
when in
doing.
Rome, right?
Huh?
I guess when in Rome, right?
Yeah. Um, in terms of I was thinking about wanting to go to Epic Universe once their like major expansion happens, but like I said, it's still going through growing pains since it just opened like 8 months ago. But at the moment right now, like yeah, it's definitely got some improvements it needs to do, but it's a very strong start for
I
what they
would,
have.
yeah, I would love to go to World of Nintendo, but that's just me.
Yeah, I
Um,
get it.
well, I'm pretty sure mine's gonna be a little bit more long-winded, so I'm gonna let John go next. So,
So, in the way of theme parks, I have done, I think, like Disney World twice. Yeah,
mhm.
Disney World twice. I think my first trip with my family to Disney was back in like 2008, 2009. I don't even remember what year. Um, so that was the first time, and then the second time I went was the end of towards the end of 2016.
Hmm.
So that I mean, experiencing the parks when you're little versus when you're older,
Yeah,
you kind of get different demographics of kind of like experience of how you
Yeah.
approach those
Yeah.
parks.
And
yeah.
I could
So, mhm,
And I could actually technically I've been to Disney World and the various parks twice. Like I
mm,
said,
okay.
I visited once when I was like 7 or 8 years old.
Mm,
And then the second time was like I said in 2016 for Christmas. And
Hmm.
um and I only and in 2018 I think that might have been my first time I went to Disneyland.
Hmm.
But other
mm,
than that, it's like yeah, we just don't go there as frequently. And actually, the first time that we were there, when I was like 8 or 9, we actually ate dinner in the castle.
Oh,
Yeah, I heard that that's a whole like that's a you have to like buck out
Yeah,
some you have to shell out some buco bucks just to even get in there. Um
yeah. I remember vividly we ate somewhere that was pretty cool when they had all the Disney princesses come out. I think it was the castle, but I'm not 100% certain.
that sounds
yeah.
like Cinderella's castle. That sounds like it.
Yeah.
I got to do the Beauty and the Beast one. That
Oh
was
yeah.
interesting.
I think
So,
I think I've seen some footage of the Beauty and the Beast one is the one where like the castle like even changes in like kind of a showy manner to like um not insinuate but kind of reflect how in the story obviously the castle changes
mhm.
when like the beast changes and even the picture of the beast when he's human gets like scratched up. I
Oh
think I've
yeah,
seen something
yeah,
about
that was
that.
there. The Enchanted Rose was there.
Yeah.
It's really cool, I will say. I will say. And to kind of like end on my own kind of note on a good thing, I did like Epcot the second time I went. Because when I was little, I didn't consider it as my favorite, but now since Disney has been doing something called Festival of the Arts, it's now been my favorite of all the parks. So,
Hmm. I will say so
mhm,
I went obviously it's been 20 years now so that gives it
mhm,
perspective.
mhm.
I went to Disney World when I was 10 years old. And obviously, 2006 Disney World is different for 2026 Disney World. You know, they still had Stitch's Great Escape. I think the Imagination ride was still in its 2006 iteration. I got to, I remember vividly being on the Muppets, that Muppet ride, the one that just closed down. And being me about 20 years ago, I didn't know I needed glasses. I'm wondering why don't these 3D glasses work for me? I'm only like seeing like this 3D effect barely work for me. So it was, you know, I think I was at the right age to actually kind of retain a lot of the stuff that happened and have a little bit of suspension of disbelief. Of course, I did freak out a little bit because guess what? I was 10 years old, a 10-year-old autistic kid, and I get a guy dressed up as Pluto coming up to my table. Well, I'm scared shitless here. Like, why is this man dressed as a dog coming at me? I'm like, I can't really remember like everything I said. Obviously, it was like 20 years ago, so it's kind of I was just scared. Then I remember the second park a lot more vividly, obviously, because it was like only 15 years, no, 14 years ago. Shoot, uh, was I went to the Universal parks. This was when the Terminator experience. It's not even a ride. They call it a ride. You sit in a theater or
Practically,
basically
it's
a
it's
stage show.
practically it's like it's practically Muppet Visions 3D, but with a few extra steps.
Yeah, it's literally just a stage show. But I liked it. I thought it was fun. They had a good amount of stuff. I got to ride the Simpsons ride when it was still a thing. I think they just shut that down recently. Um, you know, they had this whole thing where you would tour the back lots. I don't even think it was a real back lot. I think it was like something like a prop back lot for
Oh
the.
gosh, yeah, they were trying to like replicate that from the Hollywood version, I believe. That's
It
where it
wasn't
originated
Hollywood.
from. Well, well, I know that version was trying to replicate the original one that started it all with the Universal stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wasn't Hollywood. That was the thing. You know
Oh,
what?
okay. Well,
Which is the weird thing? No, wait, never mind. I'm mixing up the Florida Universal Park with the California Universal Park. I
y-
almost was gonna say I didn't see the Blue Man Group studio. Oh, where the old Nickelodeon studio used to be. No, that's all the way down in Florida. I wasn't even there.
that's
I,
okay. We all get confused a lot with these
I
things.
mean,
Like it's hard to keep
they all
track
kind of
of.
they all kind of blend together. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, but I remember, and I had this cup. I had the cup for at least 10-ish years. I won't even say 10 years. Is they were selling, obviously this came out around the Simpsons movie, so they everything all the hype was going around it. And obviously now we had um Fo Fox is owned by Disney now, so the Simpsons are in the parks now and stuff. I don't know, the Simpsons aren't even in Disney parks, but that would be funny soon. Uh,
I mean,
I
I think there's some like weird logistics
I
because
think
I
it's the same
heard
thing with Marvel too.
yeah, that's what I thought too. It's like a weird thing with like Marvel or something.
That's it. No, I remember going to. It might be mixing up. I might have actually also went to Universal in Florida too, because I remember going to Marvel Island, and those are definitely two different experiences too. I mean, obviously, now Disney owns Marvel, so they have the Avengers campus. They can't technically call it the Marvel experience or like Marvel World or whatever, because Universal still has this contract in perpetuity, but they're stuck in like 30-year-old designs and everything, which is still quite funny. Still quite funny. You can go to Disney World, go see all the MCU versions of all these characters, and then you go to Universal Studios and you see characters that are stuck in like the 1980s and 1990s when it comes to their designs. It's hilarious. It's funny.
But there's also kind of a charm to it, especially with
Oh yeah, yeah.
comparing Avengers Campus to the Islands of Adventure Marvel Superhero Island. That's like comparing an Apple store to a Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I think I don't know if it's a Disney park or the Universal park, but one of them uses more of a I want to say like Andrew like centric like Andrew Garfield centric Spider-Man costume where the Disney parks use like the Disney parks use the Tom Holland like style like suit and
Yeah.
everything.
I think it was for that one motion simulator attraction at Islands of Adventure that
I
had
think I
like
think it still is, but they have walk around characters too though.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah, you know, I just realized something. And
Hmm.
it's been 12 years. No, 14 years now. I don't think I remember there being Simpsons walk around characters when I went to Universal for like that whole thing. I don't remember
Hmm.
there being walk around characters for the life of me.
Or there is, but probably not like as I don't know. I know there is,
There might have been
but
something
make
like going on 2012. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I do remember vividly. Met I saw I might have went to Universal when I was 10 because I went to that like whole Shrek like thing when I was like much younger, and I don't remember going. I know I went to Universal in 2012 when I was with Tabby. But like, see, this is what happens. Your point about taking kids when they're still kind of forming memories is like, yeah, that's what happens. Is like everything starts to blend together. It's all
Yeah.
blending together. Oh
It's like,
God.
oh my gosh, my memory is not yet developed. It's all a blur. Oh no.
I barely even hit puberty. I can't remember what happened.
I pretty much.
My
I
front.
One of the things I wanted to mention before we finish this episode is can can theme parks be too much for autistic individuals? Like,
I think
can it be
you.
too they can be a bit too loud, or they can be a bit too crowded, or they can be
That's
a
actually a
bit,
really good
yeah.
point.
yeah, it
That's
can
actually a
be.
really good question.
I think, and actually, I talked with my therapist, like something similar or something else, but she mentioned that there were like places that some autistic people just can't go, just they because it's so overstimulating. Now, for me personally, I can go to these parks like no problem. Like I'm not
Hmm.
gonna like go into a park and then get overly stimulated and get overwhelmed instantly. It's like that's not how it works for me. It's like I'm
Mhm.
usually fine with these parks for some while, but then after like, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. After a while being in the parks and being like doing so many things at once, yeah, that's when
It
it
can be
starts to go,
overstimulating.
okay.
Yeah, when
Mhm.
you're like being bombarded, like once you go on Stitch's Great Escape, Muppet Vision 3D, It's a Small World, Pirates of the Caribbean, listing like three other rides or whatever that were going on at the time. The dinosaur ride, Jurassic Park, the ride. You just start getting like really overwhelmed, like
You know,
just back to back to back.
yeah, and the worst part about it, like going back to the Disney parts real quick, is that now with their new gosh darn app, now everything has just been turned to a race into going on each individual ride. At least that's what I remember it it becoming is
Yeah, now
essentially
because like you
just
have a wait time thing now. You like your phone will tell you like, oh, the ride is ready to ride. Okay, guys, we have to go. Get all your crap. We'll eat on the way. Let's go. So everybody's doing
yeah,
it.
yeah, that's I
Yeah.
think that's also part of how it can be overwhelming because they just made everything into a gosh darn race.
Yeah, sometimes it definitely kind of takes the enjoyment out of it when nowadays it feels a lot more like a race. Like I feel like especially modern Disney, like I hate to say it. I mean, I probably don't necessarily hate to say it. Modern Disney in the speed and like all this feels a lot more frantic than
Yeah.
like 20 years ago Disney, 30 years ago Disney. It's like
And,
some kids that are like get overstimulated by the easiest things are gonna get like start like crashing out like halfway into Small World,
yeah, and that's hoping that the apps actually work.
right?
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Right.
It's just they claim they try to act like they're ahead of the tech or whatever, but their tech barely even works.
Which is funny because
Yeah.
like they have the Imagineers all the time making actual like robotics and all this kind of stuff, like simulation type stuff that is actually pretty can't think of the word. There was that one guy who made the moving floor or the stationary floor, like where you walk on it and you stay still, but the projection keeps you moving. Obviously that's fascinating when it comes to engineering standards, but yeah, it breaks down like a crap ton of the time. They throw a Spider-Man robot across the thing and it lands on a freaking
Or like even
radiator.
or even in their new rides, like in Rise of the Resistance, there's like a 50% chance it might even work.
Yeah, yeah, I heard that like they actually had to make it an option to basically they're turning off like the cannons or whatever half the time.
Yeah, it's like and I sometimes wonder that like they so they had they some like I don't know if you probably heard that they had those like little droid things that walked
Yeah,
around
think so?
Galaxy's Edge, but they only like and the Incredible Hulk thing whatever
Yeah.
they had those things for a limited amount of time, but it's very clear that they're not being used for guest enjoyment. They're being used to impress shareholders.
I
They're
yeah.
being they're being used to impress Wall Street. Look at how fancy our technology is, guys. Are we just so great? No, you're not.
Yeah, I mean
You,
it probably would be oh no, go ahead,
I'm
Jen. Go
sorry.
ahead, Jen.
I was about to say, didn't Disney come out with this whole thing about making like this new lightsaber thing that can like be on a trap
Act
where it can like extend out and then go back into
yeah,
into the
actually
handle?
ignite and
Yeah,
retract.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What happened to that? I want to
I
know what happened to that, guys. I want to know what
I
happened to
think
that.
it's an expense thing. Like I think it's going to be a long while before we see that. But I did see that. I did see
Everybody
that.
saw it. Everybody saw it. It was like a D23 or something. Everybody saw it.
But
And
they
now the
only
question of it is like, okay, where's that now?
Because they do is just spend money on this technology for one use only, just to impress a bunch of rich people, a bunch of
Yeah.
shareholders at Wall Street, and that's it. No one else and
I,
nothing
f-
else.
I feel like if, we don't
And then
see
they just
that
put it
for the
away.
public, that would be something that they would do in the parks. Yeah, I mean? So you'll get a Darth Vader stage actor, suit actor whip out his lightsaber, the Graflex or whatever, and it'll just like ignite in red and the blade will actually go out instead of, having to like whip it out.
Like with it.
Yeah, whip it real good. Uh
Yeah, pretty much.
um uh
Really good girl.
but I think there is some stuff obviously I understand, can't actually be, utilized in the parks to like hand out to the public because
Mhm.
obviously there's some people that will not spend two, $300, $400 on like a lightsaber prop that's probably just gonna like sit on. I mean, then again, some people do spend two, $300, $400 on a lightsaber prop that's just gonna collect that dust. But you have to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
These are the same type of people that probably own those big robotic $1,000 plus transformers that just literally that's another discussion for another
Yeah.
day
I
of
do have
gimmicks.
I
But
do have one more thing to say. I
Oh,
never had thought
actually,
about this idea before, but when I went to the parks, I actually had a sketchbook and I drew a bunch of Disney characters and it had the characters sign my artwork. I
oh,
thought
that's
that was
nice.
pretty cool. I thought that was a really cool
At
idea
least
to
that was
do.
nice.
I think
You
that's
know.
I think it's a nice thing about like the Disney
Mhm.
parks is like, and in the Universal parks is that the
Character
walk
interactions.
around characters, you have character actors, have to keep kayfabe. They have to basically stay in character. Of course, there's situations where you they can break character, but that might cost them their jobs. But I think it kind of brings the magic for the kids when you have a character like, I don't know, Cinderella, or
Hmm.
you have like Gaston being all kind of like cocky
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. If like they study the character, all this just to make sure that it doesn't break the immersion. I think.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh no,
Like personally for me, I kind of view these sort of walk around characters as like sprinkles on top of a cake or like a
yeah,
dessert
Hmm.
or something.
yeah,
Oh.
Because at the end of the day, people go to these sorts of parks to experience the atmosphere and the rides and all that kind of stuff, actually like do other things. And it doesn't help the fact that Disney is gradually turning almost every single attraction into a gosh darn like an over exaggerated meet and greet. It's like nobody is here to like not everyone is here to do that.
Hmm.
I I was gonna say I just seen that. I think this is a thing from Epic Universe. They had this very they had a Dracula walk around character,
Hmm.
and the vibe, I am telling you, he I can't remember. There's just the whole thing. I'll send it to you guys later.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
it's
because
just like
haven't
his whole vibe is just I love his vibe.
I haven't like seen any clips of it yet. All I ever saw was the clips of Invisible Man, which we vibing.
Hmm.
That and I think there's a Frankenstein walk around. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
Frankenstein's monster, and also Victoria
Yeah,
Frankenstein,
the
Frankenstein's
granddaughter of
monster. Yeah, Frankenstein's monster, Bride of Frankenstein, townsfolk, I guess.
I there's also I just feel bad for the guy that walks around in the Toad costume at Universal Studios because he's probably just like looking through like one of the like
One of
the
the holes.
circles on Toad's head. It's like I gotta imagine that's gotta be a nightmare. And like people are asking me to do a dance, and all like Toad can do is just like
Hopping
Hmm.
around.
literally, if you see clips, it's like all he could do is just like wave his little arms because like the actor's arms are like that. this,
Yeah.
making the arms wave,
Yeah.
and then all he do is like foot gestures because it's probably not even a guy. It's probably a little lady, like
Hmm.
scrunched up like this, doing
Yeah.
this in the
Hmm.
costume. Like I feel it's cool for immersion, but I also feel bad for the lady
Yeah.
that's in that
Yeah,
costume.
but I don't know. Like I said, I really do want to visit like Epic Universe in the future.
Hmm.
Probably after like a major expansion or whatever, after they add like a few things, because like I said, it just opened 8 months ago, so it'll probably be like 10 to 20 years or so before they really come into their own as like a really good theme park. But
If
Here's
Epic
my
U
request. Oh, go ahead.
if Epic Universe adds Lord of the Rings to the situation, I am definitely in.
Give me some Tolkien. I was gonna say, here's my request. If we're doing Epic Universe and Monsters,
Mhm.
you know how they used to have the actual like mermaid actresses for like Little Mermaid or some of the other things. Give us the creature of the from the Black Lagoon as a swimming character. Come on, guys. Like just have an animatronic for one like bit, like a swim around, and then have him come out as like a not walk around character, but you know how sometimes they have an attraction.
yeah, yeah,
Like I want to see the creature from the Black Lagoon, guys. Um,
Mhm.
yeah.
oh, that was I yeah. Sorry, that's a bit of a tall ask, but
I even heard like rumors that there was a like in the near future they could add a like boat ride themed to the creature of the Black Lagoon, but I
I
don't
feel like that
know.
would I feel like that actually would make sense in context. That would make
Mhm.
sense in context.
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
but who knows? Who knows what their plans are?
there's at least a good couple. Although it's kind of sad, there's only like five, five-ish movies that they really only ever give like attention to, even though like some of these characters had like five or six movies of their own, respectively. You know, it's like what? It's Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Wolfman, The Mummy. Eh, like they had like a couple sequels each, and they keep trying to remake them. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde isn't even really I don't even think was a universal monster. I don't even think maybe. Been a minute.
Or I don't know.
Uh sorry for the long-winded thing. For those watching at home, thank you for watching. Just to let you know, we are on Spotify. Hopefully, hopefully, just this last Friday, we released an interview with the wonderful, the golden pipes of Sheldon J. Plankton, Mr. Doug Lawrence. So if you haven't already checked that out, please check that out. So for those watching, Drew, that's Jenna, and that's John. Thank you for watching. Catch us on YouTube, Spotify, and I'm still trying to figure it out, Apple Podcasts. So
And please like and subscribe.
subscribble, especially
Subscribble.
share, especially
Share,
share.
share,
Yes.
scribble, and
Yes, share.
like.
Subscribe. So
Please like and subscribe this podcast. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
and
Yes, please.
anybody, share the crap out of it. So
Please
um,
share. We need money. No, I'm kidding.
listen, we're no, but do share. So we will see you guys next
Sorry,
time.
bad take.
Uh,
Bye.
Bye.